Is it crazy to call Kyler Murray a generational talent?
It's crazy. It's mashugana, whatever word you want to use. It is crazy, only from this standpoint. And first, I want to give him credit, because Kyler Murray, first ever player in this country to be drafted by the NFL in the first round and Major League Baseball. So we already know, right? He's a special athlete.
Okay.
No doubt. So I'm not trying to poo-poo him as an athlete. But in this case, Steve Keim has no other choice than to put all his chips in the center of the table. Because when you draft a guy like Josh Rosen and give him up after his first year and then go draft another quarterback, you're admitting that you made a mistake, right? And drafted Rosen from the beginning. So now you have to be all in on this, because this is not only your job with the Arizona Cardinals, your career. It really is. So he's got to talk him up. He's got to hope that everything works out. He's an undersized quarterback who only played 29 college games, right? Making a transition from college to the NFL, there's been a lot of guys who are great college football players, but it doesn't translate. So we don't really know. We don't. And this is not a traditional quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. And we've seen this played out over and over with guys, okay, Mike Vick's going to change the NFL, Colin Kaepernick's going to change the NFL, RG3's going to change the NFL. We've seen it.
Yeah.
And most of the time it hasn't happened. Not that they haven't had some success. We even had Ron Jaworski, as a football analyst, go as far as to say that Colin Kaepernick was going to be. He did say it, Greg, that he was going. He was going to be could be the greatest quarterback who ever played. Do you remember Kaepernick in those early years? Do you remember the playoff game against Green Bay?
I do. I was there on the other side.
Right? When he rushed for 400
on the
yards.
field for that one,
Do you
yes.
remember that? When you guys couldn't touch him. I don't know if y'all touched him that game. Maybe you touched him after the game when you shook his hand.
I definitely didn't touch him because I didn't play defense.
But you know what I'm saying. Your defense couldn't touch him. But I think this is all premature and way too early to say that. You could say he's something special. I'm intrigued by him. I think he has a chance, you know what I mean, to do something that maybe hasn't been able to been done before. But I just can't. Generational, I'm not with that, not yet.
Yeah.
When you look at Steve Keim and his history of what he's brought in at quarterback, this is a generational talent right here.
It just means that he's a bad GM.
Yes, that's what it is.
You can call whatever you want to, but this Kyler Murray kid is a generational talent. And for all the reasons that you mentioned one of the primary reasons why he views him, and we should view him as such. It's not about what he hasn't done yet in the National Football League, because that's to be seen. But you mentioned the only player ever to be drafted top 10 in the Major League Baseball, as well as top 10, number 1 overall in the National Football League. We have never seen that before, and we possibly will never see that again. So from the outset, impressive. Congratulations to Kyler Murray. Can we not forget his transition that he had to make after a Baker Mayfield Heisman Trophy winner year that he put on, all the records that Baker Mayfield set, and all the hype that left with Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma? And we thought, man, Oklahoma, will they even be another relevant team? Will they have another relevant year? And then this kid, Kyler Murray, steps in, not only starts to knock down some of these statistical records that Baker Mayfield set in place, he backs it up by another Heisman Trophy season. Like, he has been proven to step in and make impact right away. You talk about him only playing 29 collegiate football games.
That's all we got.
That's all we needed.
Well, wait, hold on. He only started 17.
He only started 17. And his interceptions that he did throw, the 7 that he did throw was early in his collegiate career. Last year, he threw 42 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, equivalent to what he had already thrown early in his collegiate career. So don't tell me this guy only has played 29 games, started 17. He is proven to sit back, watch what he had before him, educate himself, learn, go through the process, and then when it was his turn, take full advantage of it. I like Kyler Murray not only because of his stature, not only because of his speed, but his dynamic ability to not only lead, but also make game-breaking plays. When you watch a guy like Kyler Murray, we haven't seen this type of talent since Michael Vick. And Michael Vick himself said that he possibly will be better than what he was even running the football.
Okay, but generational talent is different from generational athlete. I would agree with what you said. As an athlete, he's there, right? Baseball, football. But to back up what Rob Parker said, you are now putting this tag of generational talent on a guy who carved up the Big 12, where they don't play a lick of defense.
I was going to say...
They don't play any defense in the Big 12.
And you just made the point when Baker Mayfield was able to do it, and then another guy
Is it Lincoln Riley's system, or is it Kyler Murray? Now, we know Kyler's awesome. He is immensely talented, over 4,000 yards passing, over 1,000 yards rushing. Only Deshaun Watson had done that before in college football. But the burden of expectation that you're putting on this young guy, the GM really messed up here, Greg. You can't do this to Kyler Murray. Let me just back up to last year. Arizona Cardinals were awful. They set, for the first time in 18 years, a starting offensive line had 13 different guys start. Josh Rosen had no chance back there. I feel bad for Kyler Murray. He already ran for his life, because that's what he does. He is going to be scrambling from the jump in Arizona. He's going to have no chance to be a generational talent. No shot behind that awful offensive line.
This is why it works. This is why it works, because you get an elusive guy who has escapability, who can extend the play, who can play outside the pocket and still be accurate, still keep his eyes down the field, still make plays throwing the football, but also with his legs.
But hold on.
This is the difference between he and Josh Rosen.
You think defenses are going to go after him when they know he's elusive?
Yeah.
Do you really believe like they're going to go sack Kyler Murray? Or are they going to play knowing that he's elusive and can run with the football? Just for the record,
speaking of elusive, Carson Wentz is elusive. He's 6'5". He's gotten knocked out the last 2 seasons. Andrew Luck is 6'4". These are strapping dudes who are getting jacked badly. Andrew Luck can't stay healthy. You're telling me a 5'10", 207 guy with no offensive line has the potential to be a generational talent?
I absolutely believe it. And here, you talk about size, and this is where I don't want us to just focus on his size, because let's not act like we haven't had players that have been small. We have a Tariq Cohen and guys like...
Wait, is he a quarterback?
No, he's a running back. He's one of the smaller running backs in the National Football League. We have, who's with the Philadelphia Eagles right now?
Sproles.
Yes, Sproles, one of the smaller guys. These guys playing running back automatically have an advantage because they're smaller. They're not seen within the tackles. You can ask any defensive player, defensive lineman, linebacker. It is more challenging to get a visual on these guys because you can't find them. They hide behind the guys that are 6'5", 6'6". Now, if that's the only thing that you guys can attack Kyler Murray for,
nobody's
attacking. But we're attacking the phrase of generational talent.
I just think it's a stretch.
I think Murray's going to be good this year. We would agree. Murray is talented. He is fun to watch. We like the Cardinals. But you're putting this on a guy who basically has to be the franchise savior for a franchise that's been garbage.
This has been a franchise that's been wandering the desert for the last 25 years.
Well, Carson Palmer took him to an NFC title game.
But I'm just saying, but this franchise has made a lot of mistakes, and I'm not saying that this is a mistake. All I'm saying is, Keim, the general manager, is just, I get it. He needs to save his bacon by putting all this on this kid, and you're setting the kid up for failure. For expectations. And I got to meet him down in the Super Bowl in Atlanta. And I don't know, 5'9".
He's not bigger than me.
He's definitely not. Have you seen him?
Absolutely. I was down there with you.
Yeah, you're right. You were down there. And I don't know. I mean, he's a smaller guy. I have to wait to see how it translates to the NFL. I'm not there yet, Greg, until I see it.
I don't want to make this a Steve Keim thing, but he has also drafted 2 guys in the top 10 in the last 6 years. Both of them got traded within the first 2 years. So I don't know if he knows how to identify talent. Greg, I got to ask you, Kyler Murray comes out. If they don't bring in Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach, who obviously knows the system well, Lincoln Riley, the high octane
and was in love with him.
I mean, does Kyler Murray go in the top 5? Is anybody taking him that high?
Yes.
Who?
Yes, it doesn't matter who. Let's talk about where he is right now and why he is where he is right now. It's because of Cliff Kingsbury, the system that they feel like fits a Kyler Murray. It's when you talk about generational talent, we make it seem like he has to have done so much in his national or pro career, National Football League career, to just be a generational talent. We've seen Tua in college. We're looking at him as a special talent, not calling him a generational talent. Baker Mayfield and what he did in college and what it
I never heard anybody call Baker Mayfield that.
No, they didn't need to, but there was doubts. There was doubters.
That was only one season.
Against Baker Mayfield as well.
RG3 had a good year. Remember?
No, he had a really good rookie
awesome
year.
Rookie.
Will you admit that?
Happened?
Can you at least admit that?
I can admit that.
He had a great rookie year.
But anytime you swing, you know this, you play softball. You're a big baseball guy. Anytime you're up at bat, you're not going to strike out every single time you're up there. You might strike out once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, but you're eventually going to hit the ball.
I don't strike out in softball.
And that's what Steve Keim has done.
That's not a good way to keep it down.
He's hitting the ball right now with Kyler Murray.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.